Girl,
Dude,
let's talk about it.
welcome.
We're here to discuss Heated Rivalry, Episode 6, The Cottage.
Yes, and spoilers ahead. Let's get into it. If you watch a show and don't immediately trade memes and giggles with your best Judy, did you really have the few viewing experience?
Of course not. When the credits roll, that's our signal to debrief.
I'm Jose Miguel,
And I'm Leslie.
and we've been friends since we were kids.
And we realize some shows are just too good not to gab about. This is Heated Reference.
So this week's social media shout out, Kiara_Lewis1 on Instagram for her video of spreading the gospel of heated rivalry.
We saw your video and we hope we're doing you proud because we started a podcast about it.
I love her videos. So we love you. Thank you so much for your amazing comedy. Let's jump into IMDb.
Shane and Ilya get away from the spotlight, but they have to face some tough decisions that could change everything about their future and life together. What do you think? How they do?
It's a drastic improvement from the first episode. So what do you think?
This is one of the better ones.
Yeah.
This episode kicks off with Scott Hunter as he talks about his experience hiding his sexual orientation.
When you have a secret that you work as hard as I did to protect, it's exhausting.
Afterwards, Shane and Ilya head to Shane's secluded cottage, though both are privately feeling pretty terrified about the extended quality time.
I think you're gonna like the cottage. It's relaxing.
Shane is so committed to their privacy that he even tells his parents that he's on a silent meditation retreat. Once they settle in, they're eager to get it on. Jose, what's the first thing you want to highlight?
When Scott Hunter was giving his speech,
Fear is a powerful thing. But then I found the one thing that is more powerful.
his recognizing that he wasn't honest because he was too scared having Kip lead him in that direction, as well as him recognizing that the only person he was disappointing was himself, not the people around him.
As the episode starts, we see Scott walking onto the stage, but we see it from the vantage point of a television screen within a bar. And this is a vital moment for our beloved Scott Hunter, but it's also a beloved moment for the queer community. If this was real life, that would have been televised on many a bar because people would just be so excited to support someone who is representing them in a space where they don't normally see themselves.
Scott was kind of describing it, so many people reaching out to him saying, thank you for doing that.
My first highlight is the car scene. We could tell that this is going to be different from their prior meetups. Shane was nervous about hosting and wanting to put as much effort as Ilya put into when he hosted Shane over at his place for the first time. So he's giving him the rundown. Your needs are going to be met here. We don't have to go out if you don't want to. Trying to put him at ease. Ilya was very open when he volunteered that he was feeling pretty terrified.
I'm glad you're here.
Me too, but also terrified, yes.
And wanting to check in with Shane to make sure that they were both on the same page about that. Shane making it clear that he's looking forward to relaxing. That was a great way to set the tone.
Yeah. I think it was also just nice to see that we finally arrived at this point, that it's been kind of like this long buildup throughout the whole season.
They both reveal they hadn't hooked up with anybody else. And that was Shane's cue to say, hey, let's be honest with each other about what we're thinking and about what we're feeling. Ilya's already showing that initiative by volunteering in the car ride that he's feeling terrified. But just the fact that Shane had to say that out loud, it's just his need for structure. It is just a nod to the Shane that we know and love.
For sure. Yeah, Shane definitely has a very organized and methodically process of how he wants things to go in his mind and what he envisions for this escapade. As they settle into a domestic routine, the walls really start to come down. Over burgers, Ilya starts asking about Shane's family and questions why he hasn't come out to his parents yet.
My parents are great.
Do they know?
About you? Of course not.
No, about you.
Next, Shane introduces Ilya to the concept of relaxing while watching a fire.
So we just sit here and look at it.
Yes, we just sit here and look at it.
Canada is fun.
Shut up.
After a text from Rose, Shane is dumbfounded by Ilya's jealousy. As Shane tries to reassure Ilya and Ilya tries to get details about Shane's disastrous sexual experience with Rose.
What the fuck was that?
A loon?
A what?
A loon. It's a bird.
And meme is born. Stupid Canadian Wolfbird. Later in the evening, Ilya opens up about the trauma of finding his mother after her when he was a kid.
She accidentally swallowed the whole bottle of pills.
The next morning, Ilya tells Shane that he likes him, and Shane says it back.
Good morning. I like you.
I like you too.
Later that day, Hayden calls Shane, feeling annoyed at having to share Shane's attention. Ilya chose to distract Shane the best way he knows how. Shane tells Ilya that their connection has grown beyond just enjoying the thrill of being bad.
The first thing that stood out to me was Ilya asking Shane about his parents. In the past, Ilya has said that Shane asked too many questions, but at this point, we know that Ilya has realized that he's in love with Shane. And even though he hasn't said it to Shane in English yet, he's making an effort to get to know Shane on a deeper level. And that involves asking him about his parents because they help Shane mold him to the person that he is.
He's definitely invested in wanting to see how this relationship can develop more. It really is great to see how he's actually opening up and allowing there to be more conversation.
The next thing that really stood out to me was when they're laying by the fire.
She accidentally swallowed the whole bottle of pills.
Ilya is laying on Shane's lap and he's talking about the passing of his mother. And we can see Shane, he physically flinches when he hears that his mom died as he processes what Ilya is saying about being the one that found her. I think that moment Shane finally realizes, at least in part, why Ilya is who he is and why the subject of Russia and his family has always been touchy when Shane would try to use that as a point of entry to get to know Ilya better, why it would always be met with walls up.
The trauma that kind of has held him back from being the version of himself that he wants to be has been something that he's been avoiding for pretty much his whole life. So yeah, it is pretty powerful to see how you can build a trusting relationship with a partner that can communicate and listen and be there for you.
What you got for this act?
Shane's reaction when Ilya decides that he wants to go down on him while he's on the phone with Hayden. It was just so funny, but also like playful. And like, it just goes to show that like they don't take themselves seriously. Just a lot of fun to watch them, go back and forth.
He was saying no, but he was also opening up his legs so Ilya could have deeper access.
More room.
Afterwards, when Shane gets off the phone and Ilya says,
Because you like to be bad.
and Shane is like, hey, that's not what this is. Not anymore, not for a long time, right? Ilya's response is,
So you love Hayden.
he can't take the sincerity. It's like, I know this bitch by now. He surrenders like, all right, moving on.
He loves to see him react, to get a reaction out of him and annoy him. While kicking around the soccer ball, Ilya brings up the idea of playing for a Canadian team once his contract is up so that he could have a non-Russian passport. Later that evening, Ilya suggests that he can marry Svetlana for a U.S. passport. The idea of marrying anyone else upsets Shane.
But is she, I don't know, someone you want to marry?
Ilya reassures Shane that none of his experiences with women hold a candle to the hold that Shane has on him.
But I am always thinking about this slow fucking hockey player with beautiful freckles.
The idea of Ilya having a marriage of convenience still upsets Shane, so he urges Ilya not to do it. Determined to find another way to keep Ilya from having to return to Russia, Shane wakes Ilya up in the middle of the night.
What idea? What is happening?
What if you played in Ottawa?
So they will only be 2 hours away from each other. He suggests they start a charity together as a way to normalize their friendship in the public eye. Shane has even thought about their post-retirement life, in which they can be openly together.
You really think that far ahead, Hollander?
I do. About this.
And is that what you want? To be together?
So much. So much it scares me.
That brings him to tears. Overcome with emotion, Ilya tells Shane that he loves him. Shane quickly says it back.
I love you.
Holy shit.
I mean,
I love you too.
With their feelings out in the open, We get a glimpse of them enjoying each other's company, making love, furthermore, forming their ideas of a charity. What are your thoughts?
Shane's reaction to the idea of Ilya getting married to Svetlana for citizenship, he's brought to tears. It's not just jealousy. He's understanding the gravity of like, we do need to get you out of Russia. At this point, they haven't discussed like a future together. Shane going into that line of questioning about you like women, right? You could find a woman that you actually want to marry. He was accepting the reality of their situation, but it was also a selfless act from Shane being like, well, you are bi, so you have the ability to have it all. Marriage is important to Shane because he sees that his parents have such a strong one. The concept of it being just like a marriage for convenience is like a non-starter for him.
It really doesn't sit well with him at all.
Right. And on a lighter note, the fact that Ilya goes on about he can't stop thinking about this slow fucking hockey player with beautiful freckles and a weak backhand. He's so boring and he drives a terrible car. The fact that listening to all this, the only two things that Shane takes objection to is the weak backhand and the terrible car. He's like, don't come for my backhand, my sports game. Don't come for my car.
Shane has a lot of feelings about his car back to Russia and knowing how bad it is for him there and how he doesn't really have the support system. It is a beautiful conversation of how they both kind of get to that place.
That leads us to your reaction.
What really stood out was how it played out nonstop in Shane's brain, and he had to wake up Ilya to talk to him about it. Let's start a charity together and you can play for Ottawa. It was just really nice that his mind is like, this is my man. I want to be with him. I'm going to figure out a way to make this happen.
Solid plan. I am incredibly immature because just like Ilya, when Shane says we'll still play hard against each other on the ice, Ilya starts to smirk. I started to chuckle too because I felt like it was a nice callback to episode 2 when Ilya was like, you were hard, weren't you? How long? The whole game? So that's my immature reaction.
How long has that been living rent-free in your brain?
Forever. I can't wait to make that edit. In that same scene, there's that moment where Ilya is like, you really think that far ahead? And Shane reassures him that he does about this and like, you really want that. And Shane reassures him so much that it scares me, he says. And that brings Ilya to tears. Once again, we see him turn his face as he starts to cry, which I felt like was a nice callback to episode 5. We see his instinct is, if I'm crying, I need to hide that. Though there's growth on his part, there's stuff that's still deeply ingrained into who he is that he's still struggling with. And it's going to be interesting now that we know we're getting a season 2 to see him grow and develop as a person even further.
Yeah, it says so much about his upbringing, how he spoke of his mother and how he connected to her. If his mother was there, it would have been a very different upbringing for him.
When Ilya whispers in Russian that he loves Shane, he whispers it twice. It's almost as if he's like summoning up the courage to say it out loud in English. I thought was just like such a nice touch.
Yeah, it was just beautiful to watch their walls come down.
The sunrise reflected on the lake. It's like a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life. R.I.P. Nina Simone. It's like the start of a new chapter in their relationship.
We've been kind of building up to this whole entire season, really.
After spending time at the lake, David finds them in a very compromising position. David flees immediately, leaving Shane in a total panic. Ilya reassures Shane that he can handle what comes next.
Fuck, I'm scared. Yes, it's scary. But you're brave. Shut up. No, you're brave.
Shane heads over to his parents' home to officially come out.
I'm gay. Which I was going to tell you soon. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner.
David and Yuna reveal that they've actually suspected Shane was gay before.
For how long?
For a while, I guess.
We both know you pretty well, Shane.
However, they are floored to learn that he has a relationship with Ilya that has been going on since before their rookie season. Yuna is actually really sad for them when she learns that they plan to stay in the closet until retirement.
Oh, no, that's sad.
Outside the house, Yuna has a heart-to-heart with Shane, telling him she is so proud of him and asking for forgiveness for making him feel like he couldn't tell her.
Look at me. I'm sorry that I made you feel like you couldn't tell me.
Once she's back inside, she flips into momager mode. Ilya confirms that he'd leave Boston for Shane in a heartbeat. David and Una eventually give their full approval. After seeing how tenderly Ilya cares for Shane during a mini anxiety attack at the table,
Please text. No text. Pay attention to your phones.
Thank you for pasta.
the episode wraps up with Shane and Ilya getting back into Shane's car with his parents promising to text before they visit again. The credits roll as Shane and Ilya drive off into the sunset looking towards a brighter future together. Thoughts?
I loved how Ilya says to Shane, "You're brave." And Shane tries to dismiss that, but Ilya double downs and says, you're brave. Shane is brave. We've seen it throughout the season, not just physically because he puts his body on the line in his chosen profession, but when he realized his sexuality and the deepened feelings that he has for Ilya, he's the one that initiated that. He also is the one that initiated trying to hook up after winning Rookie of the Year. He puts himself out there with the bathroom scene. He's not afraid to be vulnerable. That is bravery. And Ilya saying that is not just like rah, give this person a pep talk because they need it. It's a recognition of he sees Shane for who he is.
Ilya is showing up for Shane, whereas before we saw a lot of Shane showing up for Ilya.
Right.
So my reaction here,
He's visiting and we're,
Lovers.
no, Ilya, that's gross.
I just thought it was comical. Don't say that word.
That was cute. Did you clock Ilya's posture when he is standing beside Shane while Shane is talking to his parents? His hands really crossed in front of him, like a little boy who's been caught doing something naughty. Are you still going to let me play with my friend? Earlier in the episode where we saw that he was asking about Shane coming out and the hesitation, and he says, "Oh, this is my fault." Maybe at some point he was nervous on another level of like, this person's really important to me, and therefore his parents are really important to me, and I hope that they like me.
I thought it was funny too when Shane says that that's not helping because he wore the Boston Raiders shirt
He's like, they don't know I play for Boston.
as if like they don't know who I am. I also think it was beautiful to see how there's a moment where his parents acknowledge that they thought he might have been gay. So
I think we thought maybe you were gay.
You did.
I think we thought it was certainly possible.
they're sitting at the table. This is when Shane's really talking to his parents. They're actually saying, we thought you could have been. It's beautiful when parents are accepting of their kids coming out to them. They're actually able to have conversations of like, well, I guess we did think about it, but we never really did think about asking or anything like that. It's always nice to see that there's an example of that from other people on television.
During that exchange, the second lover drop, kudos to Ilya for taking feedback because Shane just had to say it once. That's gross. And so he was really struggling in that moment to find a substitute.
Another word.
Yeah,
I need an adjective. Something that describes this.
right. But he wasn't going to say it.
Just what?
Just Ilya.
They talk about Ilya's bisexuality. He says that he's only ever been in love with one person, and Shane then says that he's only been in love with one person. We get a cut to their feet under the table, and we see them touch again. And once again, I'm all about the callbacks today. Just the callback to episode 1 at the conference. It was really sweet.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. And this whole episode, it was the ending that we needed.
Them walking out of Shane's parents' home, you could tell that they have come to accept Ilya.
I also thought it was really interesting too to see how she's like, I'll bring some salad. I'm like,
He wants to take care of them.
she does. She's like, she's so happy that her son found someone that is at his level and like cares about him.
What ruined your brain? Tell me.
It was Shane freaking out at the dinner table and how Ilya was really like there to comfort him saying, hey, family's here, boyfriend is here, you're good. To see Shane having a meltdown, just not sure what to even do or say, but like, I'm just trying to breathe under this table. I'm trying to hold it together. And the moment he hears the word boyfriend,
My boyfriend?
I mean, yes. I think so, probably.
I'm your boyfriend? Me? Okay. We figured out how to communicate. It only took us 6 years, but we figured out how to do it.
Shane's panic in that moment stems in part from his ambition. He wants to be considered one of the greats in his field. And we already saw that Scott wasn't rejected for coming out. So Shane's panic isn't about a fear of losing his job or his lifestyle. It might be about like he also doesn't want to be defined as a gay hockey player. He's not ready to lead with that. And we saw during Scott's speech saying his kiss, his coming out is kind of overshadowing the conversation of his lifelong ambition to win the cup. He said it got a little more attention than his championship. You know, so maybe that was like part of why Shane was so panic stricken in that moment.
That's an interesting observation. My reaction to where that came from was it's too much too quick, and I don't know how to process. He had this plan already formulated, and then he heard his mom talking about this plan that she's trying to devise was just like the perfect storm. But it was really beautiful to see how Ilya quickly jumped in to like know what to say to get him back to that space. Like, you're around people who care deeply about you, and you don't have to have it all figured out, but I'm here for you. Your family's here for you, and you're good. Like, but that's an interesting perspective about him. Like, maybe he is thinking that deeply into it in his brain. That is, I mean, these are all questions we should ask Jacob Tierney. I'm just saying, I'm putting that out there because you never know. I really would love
Rachel
to have
Reed.
Rachel Reed. Yeah, let's do it. What was your moment that ruined your brain?
Oh, so you speak bird now.
Wait,
You speak bird now. Lewin, I hate you. That whole exchange.
but why? There's so many other things. Why that?
Shane immediately says, no, you don't. It's a testament to how much his confidence has grown and how secure he feels in his relationship with Ilya. Even though at this point in the episode, they hadn't discussed all that stuff. There was no I love yous. There was no talk about being together in the future. He knows already they mean something to each other, even though they haven't applied a term for it yet. And that Ilya's playful hostility is just kind of like a form of him showing affection.
Totally. I mean, you could see that from day one too. Like,
Dude, you speak English, you speak French, you're learning selective words in Russian, and you're fluent in bird. I hate you. I deeply admire your ability to adapt to all these languages. That's what that was code for. And Shane was like, I got you.
do you want to learn too? Well, the whistle, the callback whistle. Yes. That was just like the moment, like, oh, I'm going to show you a bitch.
He blew his mind in that moment. All right, so time to check the scoreboard. Jose, what is your Heat score?
Yeah, my Heat score is a 10. No splits for this one. When Shane says, how do we let this happen? And Ilya responds back that we're both very stupid. And then Shane's like, please fuck me. And it's like this exchange of them trying to understand how they got to where they got to. Their maturity found to be just really hot that they are openly acknowledging it in the heat of the passion.
The language is raunchy. Everything else about it was tender. We had this soft piano music playing in the background to just heighten the moment.
I agree with you 1,000%. All right, what was your Heat score?
When Shane wants to draw down the blinds, Ilya tells him not to, and he says, I want to see you. They're trying to move beyond the era of being in hotels with the curtains closed, wanting to fool around while the hot dogs are thawing. It's like a domesticated level of passion. Passion woven into mundane moments can be in of itself. And so 10, what's your heart score?
So my heart score is a little bit of a split. The first 5 points goes towards Shane saying, I love you.
I love you. Holy shit. I mean, I love you too.
It's the moment we've been waiting for. We finally got to it. It just pulls at my heartstrings. And my other 5 goes to Shane's mom. Her face just feeling like a proud mama that like they've been together this way for so long, and just showing how she actually cares for the fact that he found this person that makes him feel a certain way.
When Shane says, does it kill you too? And Ilya says, not anymore. I think what was killing Ilya was thinking that it wasn't reciprocal. Once he knows that it is, it's no longer a heavy weight. It's now, at least for Ilya, this freedom that comes with it. No surprise here, heart score 10. If I have to select a moment to give it a 10, I would say it's because Shane wants to name the charity after Ilya's mom. Ilya finally trusted him with this important piece of personal information about his mother's passing. And in return, Shane wants to honor his mom. And Ilya is so touched by it that he says she would have loved you like I love you. And then Shane says that he wants to hear it in Russian.
Yeah. Люблю.
And it just goes to show you that Shane has like this desire to know every facet of
His
Ilya's.
layers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. My gosh. Well, should we transition to the penalty box?
The penalty box is slim pickings. My selection is a reach. I know it's a stretch. It's Hayden.
Oh, fuck, it's Hayden.
For calling without texting. Most millennials don't use the phone for actually talking on the phone. So at this point, if somebody calls without texting first, it's usually a sign that something's wrong.
I have nobody in the penalty box. What was your most relatable moment?
Ilya's inability to hide his RBF. We see it multiple times when he enters Shane's car, when he isn't excited about sitting by the fire, when he's jealous that Rose reaches out to Shane. He thinks he's being considerate by not saying what he's thinking out loud, but his face is depicting exactly what's going on in his mind. And in a way, that becomes a strength of his, because when they finally go over to Shane's parents' home and Shane tries to say, maybe you should wait in the car, Ilya doesn't have to say a fucking word. He just raises his eyebrows like, the fuck you say? And then Shane says, sorry, and reverses course, and they move on. My resting bitch face is my superpower. What's your most relatable moment?
Mine was Shane apologizing to his mom outside, just saying, I'm sorry.
I just can't help it. I'm sorry.
If I disappointed you. When he says I tried, that hit me hard. I didn't have the same coming out story. Mine was horrible, actually, but I can empathize and relate to how hard that is to be in that space of having to tell the people who raise you or who play a huge influence in your life that you're something other than what they would want for you and what they think you're supposed to be because society tells you to. And when he just says, I tried, that's like where it just fucked me up. It was so relatable because I understand that. Just coming out to his parents was his biggest nightmare. And then now he has to actually live his nightmare.
You know, that bit where he said that he tried.
Mom, I need you to know that I did really try.
Made me think about the earlier scene when Shane says to Ilya, do you want that problem to go away? I thought about that when Shane is with his mom, thinking, how many times did he want his feelings for Ilya to go away? To give himself a chance to fall for a woman.
Somebody else, yeah.
Yeah.
The heart wants what the heart wants. That fear that he's had, crap, I have to face the music, right? I have to really acknowledge that this is who I am. It couldn't have gone any better, obviously, but it was just very beautiful to see how the four of them showed a lot of love, even though his mom was shit talking Ilya the whole entire season.
Well, this was an amazing episode of television and an amazing season. And we hope we did the episode justice. But just in case, we want to go next week and do a whole season kind of once over recap, deep dive into the season. A peek behind the curtain, guys. We have been struggling so hard to keep our conversations focused per episode.
No, not we. I. The person with ADHD over here who's all over the place. Me. This one.
So next week, we'll talk about the season as a whole. We'll be able to talk about all of it with no restrictions. And that'll be awesome. And then once we're done with that, we're going to go into the books, which we're really looking forward to covering. And that'll be the week after that. So stay with us because there's a lot more to discuss.
Yeah, we're really excited to unpack our ideas, our thoughts without having to restrict ourselves to just one episode, and as well as being able to see what the books offer. So I'm excited to just go into it and being able to like learn the difference between the characters and how they're developed in the books, but also getting into some more juicy details about these characters that we've grown to love.
We'll see you here next week.
See you next time. Heated Reverence is hosted by Jose Miguel Longo and Leslie Obando.
If you enjoyed obsessing with us, hit the like button, and more importantly, follow the show or subscribe so you're invited to every hang session.
Tell us your own heat and heart score or the exact second a scene ruined your brain on Instagram and TikTok at Heated Reverence. You can also catch the full video version of the show on our YouTube channel.
And for long-form thoughts that need more than a caption, hit us at heatedreverence@gmail.com. We'll see you next week.